Jessica Delancy and her new man are hot for each other in sunny Jacksonville, Florida.
He brought excitement to her life.
But Jessica will pay the ultimate price for getting involved with a man who plays dirty.
She accepted the criminal activities as a way of life to keep up the financial rewards that came with it.
Jessica would do anything to help her man get what was rightfully his.
There are hundreds of thousands of women in prison at any given time in the U.S. These are the true stories of women who committed heinous crimes in the name of love. For my man. For as long as she can remember, Jessica Delancy of Pickettville, Georgia, has only known what it's like to feel unwanted and alone.
She was abandoned by her mother. Jessica's father was abusive, and he was an alcoholic.
Jessica's grandmother is left to care for her, but pays little attention to her needs.
She had no home life whatsoever. There was no one there to help direct her.
There wasn't a lot of things in her environment that could reinforce her in a positive way.
Despite her circumstances, Jessica still holds out hope that one day she'll get far away from Pickettville.
Daydreaming is certainly a coping mechanism because she felt neglected and abandoned. And for Jessica, that daydream, that fantasy, the constant fantasy she had in her mind was to be wanted and to be loved.
Fresh out of high school, 17-year-old Jessica marries the first man who catches her eye. He whisks her away to Jacksonville, 10 miles down the road.
She's desperately looking for somebody to love and accept her. He didn't treat her very well. Not long after that, he left her with a son to take care of on her own.
A year after leaving home, Jessica is already looking for a fresh start. She and her son move in with a friend who works as an exotic dancer, and Jessica signs up for classes at the local community college.
She was trying to better herself by getting an education. She was going to school to be a certified nursing assistant, but she had some difficulties to pay for those education programs.
With her bills piling up, Jessica's new roommate suggests a way to fix her money problems.
She had no real way of making a living. Her friend told Jessica the fastest way you can make this cash is to come and work at the strip club.
Jessica takes her friend's advice and makes her way to the dance floor.
She worked as an exotic dancer at one of the local clubs here.
She was an attractive girl. She did very well financially. She walks away in the evening and has cash in her pocket that she can now spend freely.
Jessica drops out of school to focus full-time on making money at the club.
Jessica was like a lot of other young ladies who are simply looking to escape circumstances that are already dismal. They want to find a better life, but they don't have a real plan. They haven't really thought about the resources they have at hand or resources that are available to them.
But there are drawbacks that come with her new lifestyle that affect her now 2-year-old child.
Between taking care of her son and stripping, that was a very, very tough balancing act for her.
Jessica would oftentimes leave her son for long periods of time. When she was dancing, she relied heavily on other family members to assist her.
When she ended up having her own child at a very young age, she repeated that same behavior, what she was taught, to be neglectful and to abandon. And therefore she did the same to her child by passing the care of that child on to her family.
The last thing Jessica expects to find, stripping, is love. But that's exactly what happens when, a month into her new job, she spies 19-year-old drug dealer Derek Goldson.
Derek took a fancy to Jessica and they struck up conversation.
They exchanged phone numbers that night. And Jessica and Derek, from then on out, they started a relationship.
And it isn't long before the only place Jessica wants to be is by the side of her new man.
Derek had large amounts of cash because of his involvement in the drug trade.
The combination of being a decent-looking guy and having substantially more money than she was ever earning as an exotic dancer, it was almost too much to resist.
Jessica doesn't care where the money comes from, as long as Derek is spending it on her.
He slipped a wad of cash in her G-string, and he made her feel good about herself.
It's really not surprising that she would date someone who had a very severe criminal occupation, a drug dealer, and he took care of her financially. This fed into that fantasy she always had of being taken care of in every way possible. So his lifestyle, for her, didn't even matter.
Just 5 days after meeting Derek, Jessica packs up her 4-year-old son and moves in with him. But she quickly learns that her new relationship comes at a price.
Not long after Jessica realized that he was a very controlling person, he told her that she had to stop working at the strip club. She's his woman. He doesn't want other men looking at her.
Derek promised to support her and her son, so she quit her job as a dancer.
Like I said, I'm taking care of you. I'm your daddy now. Does your father don't care?
By Derek offering to take care of Jessica, this was the beginning of a grooming that we see quite often happens. In many ways, this is what she wanted. The fantasy come true. The knight in shining armor riding in and taking care of her. But this was really a pure manipulation, a grooming by Derek.
Derek is not only a control freak, he's also a drug dealer who's addicted to his own product.
Whenever Derek would use cocaine, he would have a short temper and he would become very volatile. On multiple occasions, he would blacken her eye or bloody her lip.
She didn't try to get out of that situation because at that point, him taking care of her and her son, she probably saw that as a necessary evil.
By Jessica growing up in a home where her father was missing, the affection of a father, the role modeling of a father as to what a relationship should be, in this case between a man and a woman, Jessica didn't know what a healthy relationship was.
Despite Derek's abusive behavior, Jessica stays in the relationship, and within a few months, she finds herself in a new line of work.
Derek had Jessica working for him. She would frequently drive him to places to pick up drugs and to drop off drugs. The main person that Jessica and Derek dealt with was a guy by the name of Reggie.
Reggie acts as Derek's main supplier, and their business relationship seems to run smoothly, until the night that Reggie sells Derek a batch of bad crack cocaine.
Derek was cooking up the substance on the stove, and the product turned into mush. So he says, well, I can't go out and sell this. This turned into a $1,000 loss.
This is money out of my pocket.
He became very irate. He was saying that he was going to go over and force Reggie to make this thing right.
I'm gonna get his ass. We're gonna get his ass.
As a drug dealer, your reputation is on the line. You have to do something extreme to make the person pay for it.
Derek will not rest until he can recoup his cash. He comes up with a plan to steal his money back from Reggie, and Jessica is eager to help him.
Jessica's looking at this as, we're going to do anything we need to do to get this money.
You with it?
Yeah, come on, of course. Let's do it.
Let's go.
She's saying, this is my man, and I'm going to do what I need to do to keep it all good with him.
The couple decides to disguise their appearance in order to take Reggie by surprise.
So at that point, they really take on this Bonnie and Clyde persona. Derek put on a black knit cap over his face, and Jessica donned a blonde wig.
Then they drive to Reggie's house, and while they wait outside for him to show up, Derek works out one last detail with Jessica.
Derek had a AK-47. He provided Jessica with a .45 caliber handgun.
This is a guy she's known for 4 months. He's now asking her to commit a crime.
She could have withdrawn it at that point. She could have said, no, don't give me that gun. I don't want to do this.
Derek says, Jessica, this gun is for your protection. That's when it really becomes all real to Jessica. She takes the gun.
It's quite obvious that Jessica has the same mind frame at this point as Derek. She was willing to commit murder in order to please him, but to also let him know that she was an equal partner in their crime.
And when Reggie shows, Jessica continues to follow Derek's lead.
At that point, he was confronted by Derek and Jessica at gunpoint, and that he forced him inside of the house.
Oh, yeah. The door. Calm down. It's all right. All right, man. Get the money.
Once inside, they realize Reggie doesn't live alone. He has a family.
She realized that there's Reggie's wife in there, Kyoto.
And their niece, who was 10 years old. I think Jessica was extremely surprised to see anybody except perhaps Reggie's wife inside the house.
Where's the money? It's in the back, man.
Despite her shock, Jessica keeps her gun aimed at Reggie's family as she stands by her man ready to take his orders.
You would think that Jessica, being a mother herself, her motherly instincts would kick in, but apparently Derek's hold over Jessica was a lot more stronger.
After knowing 19-year-old Derek Goldson for just 4 months in Jacksonville, Florida, 21-year-old Jessica Delancy is ready to prove her love to him. After Derek's supplier Reggie sells him a bad batch of cocaine, Jessica joins Derek on a mission to steal back his money.
Let's go, babe.
Derek and Jessica force Reggie into the home. She just instinctively followed Derek's lead.
Reggie's wife, Kyoto, and his 10-year-old niece are in the living room. Despite the presence of a child, Jessica and Derek demand that Reggie give them their money.
We just want the money. That's all we want.
Reggie indicated that the money was in the bedroom, in a closet. Jessica went to look for it while Derek kept Reggie and Kyoto in the living room.
While Jessica is searching for the drugs and money, she hears Derek cry out to her. When she runs back in, she sees a struggle ensuing between Reggie and Derek. They're fighting over the gun.
Derek is trying to give Jessica commands about what to do as he's wrestling with Reggie. Jessica manages to shoot Reggie once in the back.
As Reggie fell to the floor, Derek then took control of the rifle and then executed him.
Jessica and Derek are clearly working as a team. She's willing to do anything to fortify their relationship.
What do we do now?
I don't know.
While the killers are distracted, Kyoto tries to escape.
She turned and fired multiple shots at Kyoto as she was fleeing from that home.
Despite Jessica's attempt to shoot her, Kyoto manages to get away.
Derek and Jessica ran out the front door of the home and back to the truck. They knew at that point in time, based upon the screaming and the gunshots, the police were going to be on the way.
He ordered Jessica to grab the wheel in the drive, to actually be the getaway driver.
The pair start to flee the scene.
Derek begins to question Jessica about Kyoto, and he said, "Did you kill her?" And she said, "I don't know." At this point, she's flustered. She doesn't really know what happened, but she did shoot at her.
Suddenly, Derek spots something out of the corner of his eye.
As they were pulling off, Derek saw someone hiding underneath a tree off to the left of the road.
He yelled at Jessica to stop. She slammed on the brakes.
Derek wants to make sure there are no loose ends.
Derek got out to confront Kyoto, who then begged for her life and asked him why he was doing this.
Derek raised up the AK-47, executing Kyoto.
At this point, you have Jessica, who's seen her boyfriend murder 2 people. You would think that Jessica would be feeling like, my boyfriend is a lot more dangerous than I figured. I'm going to take off. But she didn't do that.
Come on, get in the car!
After she had witnessed Derek killing 2 people, there are a lot of things going on in her mind, but leaving him was not one of them.
Now partners in 2 cold-blooded murders, Jessica and Derek flee the scene. The money they came to get, forgotten.
The result of this entire affair is that it was all for naught. They took nothing except 2 lives, and that's a tragedy.
She could have opted to stop participating. For her, there was just no turning back.
For the next 3 weeks, Derek and Jessica hole up in their apartment, hoping everything will blow over.
Derek continued to tell her, well, you can't tell anybody about this.
Derek and Jessica believed that the only witnesses that could identify them were the 2 individuals that were killed. Jessica and Derek thought they got away with murder.
What they don't realize is that when they drove away from Reggie's apartment, a crucial witness emerged from her hiding spot.
And only a matter of feet away, sort of concealed under the tree in the bushes, was the niece.
She witnessed all of these things that happened.
It's difficult to imagine the impact on a 10-year-old child witnessing an execution, particularly of your aunt or a relative, but of anyone. It's an experience that's going to live with that young girl all of her life.
After running to a neighbor's house for safety, Reggie's niece calls the police.
She gave a very detailed description of the events from the very beginning to the end.
Reggie's niece tells the police the man was wearing a mask, but she's sure that she'd recognize the woman if she saw her again.
She had a very lucid and very excellent memory for the features, and it resulted in a very good sketch and likeness.
That just shows you that sometimes trauma can make people remember things. It stays in their mind, and it becomes very vivid to some people.
As investigators hunt for Jessica, Derek's pulled over in a traffic stop, and detectives run his plates. He's wanted on an outstanding warrant from a domestic dispute he had with a former girlfriend. He's immediately taken into custody.
Now, at this point, the police don't know that Derek is a guy they're looking for. He calls Jessica and asks her to go to his best friend's Garrett house to get this bail money for him.
When Jessica arrives at Garrett's house to collect the money, she's unprepared for who she'll meet there.
Garrett was actually dating the sister of Kyoto Williams.
When she goes to the house, there are friends of Kyoto who are going to her funeral.
And one guest in particular catches Jessica by surprise, Reggie's niece. And later, in Chicago, Lisa Tony leaves her husband for another man, with explosive results.
She wanted him dead, and sooner the better.
He was like a shadow moving through the night. I mean, he could have walked up to him and blew his brains out, but he did not. He devised what he considered a perfect crime by sending him a package with a bomb in it.
Lisa would have had her life turned upside down by a master of manipulation.
To prove her love to Derek, Jessica got a tattoo of him on her neck. Derek got a tattoo of Jessica on him as well, a binding kind of connection to each other, that they were going to be together forever.
Jessica Delancy and her boyfriend Derek Goldson believe they've gotten away with a double murder after they shot and killed their drug supplier Reggie and his wife Kyoto over a deal gone bad. But when Derek gets thrown in jail on an unrelated charge, their quest for money will be their undoing.
Derek calls up Jessica and tells her to go to his best friend Garrett's house to get the money that he needs.
Garrett was actually dating the sister of Kyoto Williams. Jessica went over. Garrett was getting ready to go to a memorial for Kyoto Williams.
You have all of these people here who were preparing to go to Kyoto's funeral, among those 10-year-old niece who saw her aunt was murdered.
The niece ran out of the living room into one of the back bedrooms. Kyoto's sister ran after and asked her what was wrong, and the 10-year-old reported that's who killed Reggie and Kyoto.
Jessica and Derek thought they had gotten away with murder. They were riding high. They thought they were invincible until that moment that they locked eyes with the child of the parents who were murdered and knew that that child could identify them.
Jessica immediately leaves the house without Derek's bail money. Reggie's niece is taken to the police, who learn about Jessica and the person who connects her to both Garrett and Kyoto.
The police then reviewed Derek Golson's jail phone calls and realized that Derek Golson had had a conversation with Jessica Delancy about this encounter with the 10-year-old niece. Based upon their investigation and hearing these phone calls that were made between Derek and Jessica, a warrant for her arrest was obtained from a judge.
Jessica is picked up at her home and taken into custody. Confronted with her own voice on tape, Jessica confesses to investigators.
Jessica not only confessed to her part in the murders, but she also revealed Derek's part in the murder as well.
Because Derek was in jail, Jessica no longer felt that she was under his thumb, under his rule, under his power, and therefore was much more comfortable in speaking to the police as to what had happened. At this point, she was going to look out for herself and without the fear of retribution from Derek.
In exchange for her testimony against Derek, Jessica is given a sentence of 48 years.
Derek pled guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of armed robbery. Based upon his plea agreement, he would be sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences.
You can always tell a person's future by the people they hang around with, and this guy was a drug dealer. She should have seen the writing on the wall.